Hello there, World of Tankers. I'm Jodal's Blitz, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the KV-2 and comparing it to the KV-1S. Both of these are Tier 6 Soviet heavy tanks, and the KV-2, of course, has the massive 152mm, in fact, the only 152 you'll find at Tier 6, and the KV-1S also carries one of the only 120mm guns you will also find on a Tier 6 vehicle. So both of these tanks carry very large guns. Of course, the KV-2 is the king of derp and alpha. However, the KV-1S has mobility, it's got aiming time, it's got accuracy. So in today's video, I'm going to be comparing both of these tanks, letting you know which one I do like better, and as well at the same time, which one I feel is a better tank. So, of course, you guys actually voted on a poll for this a little bit back. I chose an older poll because I thought, you know what, this is actually a great video idea. But if you want to vote on more polls and decide what does pop out on the channel, please make sure to click that subscribe button down below. You'll be notified when I do post my polls in the community section. But getting straight into it here, we're going to be starting off with the KV-2, my favorite. While I do think the KV-1S, in my opinion, is a better tank, and I'll be getting into why that is, I actually like the KV-2 better just because it's the king of derp. This is one of my favorite Tier 6 tanks in the game. Like, not only is it that trademark look, like, in World War II, if you saw this thing rolling around the corner, yeah, I would be running away as fast as I could, because it's honestly just massive. And yeah, it's literally a bunker-busting gun that fires high explosive. So, of course, in Tier 6, this tank is able to actually one-shot not only Tier 5 opponents, but pretty much Tier 6 opponents. So, this is very bad for me right now, just the situation I'm in. So, let's shoot an HE at that guy. Now, that was an HE shell, and we still took off 480 hit points worth of damage on that ARL. So, that just shows you really how much damage the KV-2 is capable of doing. Literally, an HE can pretty much damage and even rip apart Tier 8 opponents pretty easily. So, although we're not in a Tier 8 match, it's still pretty deadly. So, we got that VK that I cannot penetrate, so I'll wait for him. Ooh, come on, turn your tank. Well, it's fine. Just shoot an HE. That's the old trick I have. If you can't penetrate your target, just load a high explosive. And again, we've already done around 700 damage. Just shooting, actually more than 700. Just literally shooting high explosive shells. So another 5 seconds, we'll get another shot out here. I would love to get a shell into that HTC. Let's try. There we go. 555 damage with a nice little snap right in there. So we got the P43 BIS behind us. I would love to tap that guy. The only issue with the KV-1S is not only is it a massive tank, it's also very, very slow. And mobility is something that's very important in my opinion, especially in a Tier 6 vehicle. So we got that VK once again. Let's shoot an HE at his turret. There we go, 491 damage with a high explosive shell, not even penetrating the tank. So you really can see why the vehicle is so deadly, is you don't even need to penetrate your shell to do such a massive amount of damage. Now, I don't think we're going to win this game, but we've still done definitely our part in the battle. So we've got that VK-45 right here. I would love to see this guy pull out on us. Come on, I can get him. And kaboom! So there you go, finished off a Tier 7 heavy tank. He actually managed to bounce the shell on us too, which is quite impressive. But literally, we can just ruin Tier 7 heavy tanks, Tier 6. It doesn't matter what you're running. If you go up against the KV-2, it can pretty much ruin your day in a matter of seconds. So I would love to get a shell into this VK-28. It would make my day. And, well, there you go, 734 damage. So yeah, pretty much just ruined that guy's happiness. Now, we did die, but we did 3,051 damage. So, in my opinion, that definitely shows that the KV-2 is an excellent vehicle if played correctly. Now, that's where it kind of falls apart, because not only is it probably having the worst camo rating out of all tanks in the game, as well, it's got actually one of the least accurate guns, which makes sense. It's actually not as inaccurate, believe it or not, as the T-49, but it's about up there. It's not really going to hit its shells, but looks like we're going to win this game. I'm happy. This VK is really not doing much, but I believe in the team. We'll find out what happens after the game does end. But let's pull out the KV-1S here, which is also an excellent vehicle. This is probably my second favorite Tier 6 heavy tank in the game. Now, the KV-1S, what does it have going for it? Well, not only does it have amazing pen, something that KV-2 doesn't have, this tank has 175mm of standard pen, which is great. That's amazing for a Tier 6 tank. You're able to easily penetrate all Tier 7 opponents you're going up against, and you can load premium, and yeah, you got 217mm. Not only that, you also carry, again, a big Soviet gun. This is the same gun you'll find on your IS-6 that's stock. 217mm of premium pen. HE pen is amazing. It deals 400 average damage, 340 with the with the premium, and 500 with high explosive. Not to mention, the tank is very quick. If I get the mobility up here, the tank goes 43 kilometers per hour forwards. It has 8 degrees of gun depression. Aiming time isn't that bad, to be honest. You'll see that because you are always front line, it really doesn't do that bad. So we actually somehow lost that game. I got no clue how yeah, we actually managed to lose that, but we can definitely say we did our part in that battle. I'm actually surprised I was able to get out that much damage. KV-2, sometimes you do well and sometimes you do bad. Now, KV-1S looks better in my opinion. It plays better. In fact, I can easily get out 3,000, 4,000 damage games in the KV-1S. Pretty easily because it's just a fun tank. 2,000 is like average for this vehicle. So if you haven't tried any of these, I would 100% recommend to do it because like in this tier 5 match here, yeah, good luck enemy team. I would love to see how they do. But there is one weakness on the KV-1S and that is the front lower plate. It is about 75 millimeters thick. Now, if you look at a KV-2's HE pen, and we're up against a KV-2, the HE on the KV-2 is about 80 millimeters thick, I think, which means that you can actually pen the KV-1S with any 150 millimeter in the lower plates. Now, that's a bit of a problem because, yeah, that's literally almost a one-shot. Actually, KV-2 can one-shot your 1S. Something I love to do. So yeah, it's not necessarily the most armored, but you can see very easily able to get into position, top speed, and I'm just gonna wait here. We'll see if anybody wants to pull out. Now they don't really have heavy takes, so I could just end up screwing myself here right now. But yeah, they didn't go this way. I didn't expect them to really. So the nice thing is because we have so much mobility, and like you could see that it is honestly great gun depression. Ooh, actually, kind of weird here, but let's see if we can get an HE into the side. There we go. 504 damage, so one shell, and we literally ruined this guy's name. Dame, yes, we ruined his Dame, but I will, honestly don't care about this guy. I'll let my Excelsior deal with him. Let's go deal with this KV-2 because that's a bigger threat right now for me. So, KV-2 doesn't look like he's actually aiming at me. And again, I said the aiming time's not, oof. That was an awful shell. I was like, you know what? Let's try and prove that the aiming time isn't that bad. But, turns out there it was pretty bad. In fact, we couldn't even hit the guy. But, he has a one-shot now for us. So, let's aim in. Let's put on our auto-aim, and let's finish him off of the battlefield. So, there you go. Finished you off. As I said, the penetration on this tank is great, so you really don't need to worry about bouncing shells off tanks, and here we go. We got the Y5. Let's get a nice little ram into you, and because we took 275 off with that ram, I will just load le high explosive, and yeah, there you go. So that just shows you why the KV-1S is such a deadly tank. Just ruined that guy's day. Pretty much about the same damage as the KV-2 would have done there. I would have just one-shot the guy with an HE. But you do have a super, super long reload in this tank. I think it's over 20 seconds if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to find out here. I would love to get this Leopard. Nice tap in the side. And we do have decent armor against tier 5s. Some tier 6s will bounce, but honestly, you really don't have good upper plate and lower plate, as I said. It's really not that great. So what do we have against us here? We've got the KV-1. It's honestly, I'm not even worried, as I said. It's honestly just an overpowered tank in most scenarios. So I would love to finish off the chassis first here. Let's use our gun depression, and let's drive over the ridge, and kaboom. So, yeah, you can see why this tank is pretty overpowered, in my opinion, compared to other tier 6 vehicles. Already 2,000 damage. And while we're not going to get out the most damage this game, we still were able to easily get out the damage in this battle. Wow, actually bounced the upper butt of a KV-1. So, I'm just happy with this game. This was a tier 6 game too, so if we were up against tier 7s, it still would have worked perfectly well in my opinion. You've got the gun depression, you've got the gun, you've pretty much got everything going for you in this tank. Even like the KV-3 carries the same gun as this vehicle. So, let me know in the comments down below which tank you like better. I like, obviously, the KV-1S more for a medium style play because of course it does have that mobility. It is way better in certain scenarios, but at the same time the KV-2 is just the KV-2. You can't get like sick of this vehicle. It is, I actually think I've got quite a bit of games in it. Yeah, 855, one of my most played tanks for the KV-1S. It's not really at that many yet, only 254. But yes, they're both very fun. I would definitely suggest to try both of them out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. But other than that, I hope you're all doing well out there. Stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next one.